Morning, everybody. See, I noticed that the hood or the trunk, it contacts that area right there when I open it up. It's not good. Morning coffee. It's pretty tasty. I like to use cream, and also I like to put coconut oil in there because I was talking to this guy one time down at the Mac's corner store, and he was telling me, as he was putting coconut oil in his coffee, he was telling me that when you put either butter or coconut oil in your coffee, it helps your stomach sort of not be so impacted by how, intense the coffee can be for your stomach, and it can apparently help you digest it easier or whatever. I'm not really sure what he said. Not really too sure. Not really too sure what he said. So over here, this is where the flat spot is, and this is where I was planning on setting up the engine stand so that I can paint the engine. This is why I have all these wood boards here, is because I think I'm going to try and build sort of like a small stand that's maybe, like 6.5 feet wide, maybe 6 feet long, sort of just 6 feet square, right? 6 feet tall, right about here, right? So that it's so I can set up some tarps and stuff like that to catch the overspray from when I paint the engine. Because my neighbor over there, one time when I was painting my blinds, all the paint was just going back over to his yard, and he said his whole house smelled like paint. So I want to be considerate. When I found out that I could rent an engine stand instead of buying one, I had some of the money for that part of the budget to be able to spend on something else. And so what I did is I bought this nice socket set. I had accumulated a lot of tools between now and the beginning of my car life, but I never had a socket set. So now we got a socket set. I got metric, I got fractions, I got long sockets, I got short sockets, I got those sockets, I got 2 socket drivers, I got a screwdriver, set there, I got whatever these are over here. Don't know what that is, but I got them. That'll be useful. Oh, hello there, little tiny baby fly. Okay, and the magic spot between the L and the E. So, on my weekend, I did a couple of things here. I tightened up this bolt over here on this part of the hood hinge. That was loose, and so I fixed that up. I went out and I bought one more. I tried to buy the rest of the bolts for the transmission bell housing, but I forgot one. So, yeah. So I'm gonna have to go back and get the last one. But now I have all the bolts, which is nice, because before I didn't have all the bolts before, which is something I wanted to work towards. But these fittings here on this balist resistor were probably as old as the car, and they were rusted on there. They were just rusted shut on there. And so I kind of thought, well, I can replace those too when I go down to get some bolts. And so I did replace them, but when I took them off, one of them stripped the screwdriver part of the fastener, the screw. And so what I did is I took my hacksaw and I made like a new sort of slot, so it was a flathead. The old one was a flathead, right? I stripped it, and then I took my saw and I made a new sort of like groove in it so that I could use the screwdriver again to get it off. When I was doing that, this end was connected or disconnected, and this the the housing for the ballast resistor element was off the firewall of the Rambler, and I guess all the vibrations from the saw, and like a couple of times, of course, like the saw blade caught in the screw, right, and kind of shook it around, and I broke it, right. So I broke it. So I had to go get a new one. So I got a new one this morning, and I bought it with $15 that I found on the ground. So that was nice. Oh. Okay, so here's the new one, and it looks like there is some fasteners for it. Wow, that's amazing. It's like every fastener that I need is right there. But I guess I don't have to use because I have the other one. Oh no. Oh no, guys. Oh no. Huh. Oh no. Alright, so this is the issue. It's kind of a silly one, but this is the issue. Alright? So it's the same one, right? There's not really much of a doubt about the fact that it's the same one. But I had the thought to use the new, part of it, which is behind here, behind this recess right here, right? I thought it would be accessible, and I could just take it out of the housing, this thing, because these things, they pop out with the element that's running along like this inside. The old one, it's exposed, but this is actually sealed with some sort of stuff. It's like sealed. I can't get at it, so I can't take it out. So I kind of wanted to use the old housing just to sort of keep a nice old look to the Rambler, but crap. I guess I won't be able to do that. Is it really important that I have that old one? Is it really important that I have that old one? I don't know. Is it really important? I don't know, man. Is it? I don't know. I'm just trying to imagine if it was on there. Oh man. Well, what happens if all the ones have a sealant on the recess where the element is? And I take it back to the store, and then the other one is still the same. Jeez. Jeez Louise. But these are all the fittings that I was trying to find at the hardware store. When I replaced all those small screws, right? These are exactly the same kind. They just didn't have this exact same kind of Canadian Tire. I just didn't have, yeah. Canadian Tire didn't even have a screw that was like this, like a big screw. Didn't even have a screw like that. Well, crap. That is gonna be something that I'm gonna have to think about. I don't know, maybe I should just stop being difficult. Maybe just work with the way that things are going. But another thing that I did when I was over here sort of cleaning up these connectors and making them look all nice and clean and stuff like that. Another thing that I did was I cleaned up these. So these are all nice and, clean looking and nice and shiny. So I just did some small jobs. I don't know if I talked to you guys about the steps that I had accomplished in taking off the remnants of that boot. It's called a boot, right? Like, that's where the transmission clutch release fork passes through, and there's like a cover that goes over top of it to protect the the clutch from road contaminants and stuff like that. I was trying to find a replacement one, couldn't find one. Started thinking to myself, maybe I could just make one, and started going through the list of possible materials that I could use. And unfortunately, I don't have it with me. So I'm gonna go back into the house here, and I'm gonna show you what it is. It's always so dark and scary in here. Well, that's kind of disappointing. I thought I could use that old balist resistor housing. I thought I could. Okay. Where is it? Where is it? I don't like walking back in here with my freaking boots on, but gotta do what you gotta do. Look, found a nice hoodie. I found it when I went down to the engine shop to get my receipt the other day. Sitting at a bus stop. The thing probably cost like $109 before tax or something like that. I don't usually wear things like that though. When I did, my friend that was meeting me at the coffee shop at the Timmy Hose, he said he couldn't recognize me. He was like, I didn't think that was you. You don't usually wear those kinds of things. All right. All right. So this is what it looks like, right? Right, so this is the remnants of the old boot cover, and this right here so I suppose it must have went on like this, right? So yeah, so that's the what I'll call the transmission bell cover / boot fastening frame, right? So it fastens it to the bell house, right, with two fasteners at each diagonal corner, right? And what's left over is this, right? I suppose over time, like almost 60 years, all the heat and elements and etc. wore out this piece. It appears to be a rubber. It appears to be maybe like 1 millimeter thick or maybe 2 millimeters thick. Not too sure, but it fastens on there with this from the outside of the transmission bell housing. Through that opening right there, right? And so I was thinking, what kind of material could I use to make that? I started thinking about heat resistant rubber. I went down to Ackland and Granger, and they said this is the rubber that we have. but it wasn't heat resistant, and so I couldn't use that. And so what I had to do after that was I had to go on the phone, this phone, at a Starbucks at a Wi-Fi because I don't have data on my phone, and I had to spend a couple of hours researching heat resistant rubbers, heat resistant materials. There was all sorts of like really industrial, specialized products that I could have used, but I didn't know really how to get. And suppliers, I'm pretty sure, wouldn't be able to really sell me a reasonable amount for the kind of job that I was trying to do it with. And so I started thinking about what kind of product is already made, assembled, manufactured, and available in stores that does have something like that I can take off it and use. So buy the thing and then just take the crap off it and then just use it for what I'm trying to do. And fiberglass, like heat resistant, flexible material, because this is what it basically kind of should be, right? Heat resistant, flexible material. It gets pretty hot in the engine compartment, and this needs to be heat resistant. It needs to be flexible because, the boot goes, the fork goes back and forth, and etc., right? So I started thinking about, what kind of products in fiberglass, heat resistant, flexible material came up. There was some products that were available that I could buy and then just sort of cut a piece out of, I guess. And those products were welding blankets, for one. And there was another one, I can't remember what it is. But when I was looking at the welding blanket in Canadian Tire, I did see that it was well, I mean, I know what fiberglass is. I don't know if you do. You probably do. But it's just like basically like fibers that are glass, but it's like fiber, right? It's really itchy. It can get stuck in your skin. It's really itchy. My dad used to be a contractor, an independent contractor for fiberglassing, and so I really know what it's like. I know a lot about it, but not really. I kind of do, I guess. Who knows? How am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to know what I know? But anyways, so I didn't think that the fiberglass fibers would be completely safe to be sort of wafting and drifting around the clutch. I didn't really know what that would do. And so I decided not to use it and play it safe and just go back to square one and just keep on thinking about things. I really thought I had it all figured out when I thought about, just slicing off a chunk of my rubber raincoat, but then I thought about the heat resistant thing, and well, I went back to square one again. There was like a heat resistant like fabric pad that they had at Home Depot, which you kind of put behind surfaces when you're sort of using a torch to do some like soldering and stuff like that. I thought about that. I went all the way down there on the bus to look at it, and I decided, no, I don't really think this is going to help me out. And so I came all the way back home on the bus, and basically that's what it's like on my weekend. I do research, read, and endless surfing on the internet, trying to, get a grip on a good idea, find a good direction to go in. It's not very productive unless you want to think it's productive to, find dead ends and be like, that's not a good idea. You need to switch your train of thought to something else. I guess you could look at that as progress. So yeah. So I did that. I also, I was going to go out and get some more soap. And, I was going to go out and get some more soap, like a spray soap that I used over on this side of the engine compartment. But I didn't go out and buy some because I wanted to see what it would be like, how effective it would be like just to use some like warm water and a lot of dish soap. And I'll tell you, I'll give everybody a big tip right now, is that it works really well, and you don't have to worry about what the product is doing to like rubber bushings like here and stuff like that, like over there. Because when I was doing that, when I was spraying, I was like, oh, don't get the soap on the rubber parts. You don't want to, damage the rubber parts and da 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 da. But dish soap, it doesn't do that. Just don't get a whole bunch of it on something like, your electrical components and stuff like that. So that's a tip. This is a tip for y'all. Yeah, this is what the fastener looked like that used to be on the balist resistor. Completely rusted. Yeah. Maybe I should just use the new one. Maybe I should just make things a little bit easier. Anyway, another thing I wanted to talk about is what I was trying to do with a job that I had on the list. All right, so this is the window frame, and then this right here, this is a piece that clips in to the window frame, and there's felt on the inside of here, which is like a stabilizer for the window glass when the window glass rolls up, so it doesn't like rattle around. I decided to not buy replacement rubber channels from Peter from down in the United States because I figured I could just replace this myself probably, you know. Here's a piece of it, right? It doesn't really look like it's that big of a deal to replace that. You know, I could just glue that back in there myself. But this side is completely gone. There's like nothing left in there, right? So anyways, the process that's described in the TSM is very super vague, right? To remove the channel from the window frame, each of the clips at the top and side section must be compressed to release them from the flanges of the inside recess of the frame. Otherwise, damage to the glass slide channel and clips may result, and a new slide channel must be installed. The clips may be located by inserting a putty knife blade between the slide channel chrome bead and recess in the window frame. When the clip is located, insert another putty knife under the clip, pry it against the glass slide channel to release it from the recess, then down to remove the channel and clip from the window frame. This operation should be started at the top edge next to the division bar channel, removing the top section, then onto the vertical section and down to top of door. The glass channel may be pulled upwards, sliding the clips to the window opening for removal by pulling the channel and raising and lowering the glass at the same time to prevent binding in the channel. It's kind of vague. This is a diagram of what it kind of looks like. So this is the window frame, and this is the clip that's inside. This is the thing that I said is inside this, right? So this is the way that it's in there right now, right? And so the idea is to take, unless I'm not understanding what I'm reading, like I said, it is kind of vague, right? So you take a putty knife and you stick it in between this area right here, and then you find the tab, and then apparently you're supposed to take another putty knife, and I'm not sure if it means to put the other putty knife in the same spot like this, or like on the other side of it, like this, or something like that. Like, I just don't get it. But you know, it's kind of a situation where I'm definitely not doing something right. I'm definitely not doing something right, you know, because so this thing is this, right? And then this thing is this, right? It clips in there. Can you see it moving, right? And I was trying to put the putty knife in there and pop it out, but it just seemed to kind of be bending that inserted part, and it didn't really seem to be, you know, I don't know, I just didn't really feel like I was doing something right, right? Right, so you put it in like this, right? And then you kind of slide it down, right? And this is where the clip is, right? It's right here, right? Right? Put so press it, depress the clip, and put another putty knife in there. And then, and then put another putty knife. Like, where should I put the other putty knife? Like, on what side of the other putty knife? Like, should I put it on the other side of this? Or should I put it on the inside of this, like this? I don't get it. But anyways, I've noticed that it's bending, and it's not like popping back into shape. So I think that I'm breaking it because I'm ignorant. So I don't get it. I wish the TSM wasn't so vague. I really do. Another thing that I started working on was replacing the felt, I don't know, cushion that was right there, right? So I clipped, like this is the old piece, like that's a really thick piece of felt, right? So I went out and bought some felt from Canadian Tire, but there's several issues that I have. One issue, right? One issue I have is that it's not as soft as this piece, and this piece compresses a lot more than those pieces. And what was fastening those old pieces on there was things that look like little staples like that. I really don't know if these are gonna go through and penetrate this felt material from these tiny holes and go onto the other side and then be able to be bent. I just don't think so. I think that felt that I bought is really tough, and it's not gonna really give a lot of room. Yeah. Okay, guys. Wow, I can't believe I've been talking for 26 minutes. Wow. Okay, well, I'm gonna start doing some work. I think I'm just gonna use that new balist resistor. I'm just gonna make it easier on myself instead of walking back down to the store and trying to find another balist resistor where it's not like sealed in there. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I just think I'm gonna put a new one on there. The whole car can't look like it's 60 years old permanently, you know. Things are gonna have to change. Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching. 1958 AMC Rambler Super Part 18. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.